Hello, hello, hello. You are tuning to the episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's second topic. Nick Wright tries to lambaste Lamar as the Ravens put belt to butt against the Chargers. Look. This guy is the biggest troll I've seen in a while. And I say this to say one thing, right? I know why he's doing it because I understand metrics. When you start to do shows like this, like how I do, you start to understand, and then Raven and them understand it too. You start to understand numbers better. You start to understand how the algorithm works. You understand where I'm coming from? And you start to understand time slots. And that keyword, time slot, is everything why Nick Wright has continuously tried to take shots at Lamar Jackson. Now, you must be wondering what I'm talking about, right? No problem. I got you. During the game, after Lamar launched that ball to Bateman, and everyone said, oh my God, what a throw. This is exactly what Nick Wright came out with. Exactly at that time. He said, folks, the argument isn't that Lamar doesn't win. He obviously does. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the best ever. Which is why it's so damning that he's 4-12 with more turnovers and touchdowns in the playoffs versus Steelers and versus Kansas City. This isn't complicated. And mind just like he talks. Liza. And Colin Cowherd and some other people came, and I was saying this during, I was like, it's funny that every game he wins, it's not a big game. Every game he loses, it's a big game. And that's when you have to start looking at it and being like, okay, so you're only doing it to fit a narrative. Because when we were looking at him versus the 49ers, that wasn't a big game. Him versus Miami, that wasn't a big game. Him versus the Bills, that wasn't a big game. Him versus Burrow, that wasn't a big game. Him versus Herbert, that wasn't a big game. Like, it's like, oh, those don't really count. Because he won. Because he won. What I'm going to do is, I think he responded to him, but I'm going to play something that Colin Cowherd said, right? And I think it's 2 clips. And I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to break it down even further, right? So without further ado, I'm going to leave that up. Hear Mr. Colin Cowherd had to say about Lamar Jackson versus the Chargers. Check this out.
The Chargers were number 1 in total defense,
Yep.
top 3 in third down defense.
Yep.
So they're great situationally. And yet, what did Lamar do tonight? 3 for 3 on fourth down, 50% on third down, 371 yards, 7.1 yards a play. It's the first quarterback all year that worked the Chargers, Lamar Jackson. The quarterbacks to me that jump out in this league, there's about 6 of them. And Lamar and Josh Allen have been sort of marginalized at times because they can't beat Mahomes. Well, good luck. But this felt like a big game, and Lamar was the centerpiece of it. Don't really compare Lamar Jackson to anybody else. Lamar is an outlier. He's a unicorn. They are going to be a kind of a run-first team in big spots as long as Lamar Jackson is their quarterback. Lamar Jackson on big downs with Derrick Henry, run the ball.
And the reason why that is, and I want to say this, is because of the threat of Lamar. So running, no matter what's going on, running will always be prevalent with him because he's so dynamic running. So no matter how well he's throwing the ball the best in the league, mind you. The threat of his legs is so scary that it opens up holes for everybody else. That's where the MVP truly hits and takes hold. I'm going to play one more clip from him, and then we're going to break the rest of it down. Check this out.
Lamar Jackson's pretty good at quarterback. He is relentless. He can beat you over the top. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you underneath. You can't get a hold of him. But yet at 27 years old, by the way, MJ didn't win a title until he was 27 years old.
Thank you!
Lamar Jackson, whatever it is, everybody wants to make definitive statements about Lamar Jackson at 27. New rule. When anybody in any career, it can be comedy, screenwriting, tightrope walking, athletics. If anybody's great at 27, I'd scale back on the definitive statements. they're going to eventually break through. Baltimore's done what Buffalo's done. They keep adding elements to help their superstar quarterback so he doesn't have to be Superman. So a couple years ago, you're like, they could really use some help at receiver. Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is great. And then they add Derrick Henry, who, is hard to bring down. The Chargers, they're going to be fine. But they were the little brother last night.
So he responded to Nick also, and you heard what he had to say, right? He responded to Nick, and he had said something along the lines was, I just want to make sure that I'm clear that, was this considered a big game? And, he got into his feelings, Mr., Nick Wright, about everything that he was saying. And people were getting in on him, making fun of his nose and everything else like that. But that comment from Colin really did a number on him. And the reason why, because it hurt his pride. Because sometimes the truth sets you free, right? Colin pointed out and said, I just want to keep track. Is this a big game? Because he says he fails in every big game. So then it's saying, okay, that's impossible. The man has one of the highest, if not the highest, winning percentage against winning teams. What are we talking about here? Every time, this whole year, Jaden Daniels, that was a big game. Remember, Jaden Daniels better pass to Lamar Jackson right now. And he's the rookie and MVP right now. Remember? Same thing was with Josh Allen. Remember? Same thing with Joe Burrow. Remember? It's just that he won those games. So they're like, those don't count! Don't fit the narrative. And once again, I'm gonna put a big poo-poo on Nick Wright, so y'all understand this. There are prime slots. I brought this up at the beginning, and I wanted to make sure you understood where I'm coming from. There are prime slots when it comes to television. You understand where I'm coming from? Prime slots. The slots where eyes are going to be watching most. The prime slot for that network was between two people. Colin Cowherd and Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. With the departure of Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp and the disintegration of Undisputed, they moved First Things First into that slot, which made it a longer show. Which means they had to come up with more content. Which means they had to keep the viewers' eyes glued. They had to be more risque. They had to show that they deserve those eyes, that spot. And probably raises all around. So you know what happens? Who's the biggest lightning rod in sports? Lamar Demetrius Jackson. That's just the way it goes. And he knows that if he keeps doing this, keeping that, even if he's wrong at the end, people will tune in just to see what the hater has to say now. Because Floyd Mayweather made this a thing. They tune in not to see him win. They tune in to see him lose. So they're tuning in to say, what do you got to say about Lamar now? He just won. So he has to come up with more creative, different ways how to badmouth Lamar because he knows. He knows. He's scared of it. He knows Patrick Mahomes is his guy. You don't think he's scared of Lamar and everything he's accomplished thus far? Yeah, he is. That's why he acts like that also. So, Mr. Nose Guy, and for everybody else that agrees with them, double slap! Right hand side. You understand where I'm coming from? And just so I keep it non-segregated, double slap, black hand side. You know I gotta do it, baby. Because your ignorance and your lack of creativity shines bright through your ignorance. It really does. It truly does. It shines all the way through. It's palpable. And you've become nothing but a laughingstock amongst these people. The big nose laughing guy. It's funny. You're funny. But it is what it is. But what do you guys think? Did you see this during the game? Did you see what some of the people had to say? Were you one of the people that responded to this comment? Let me know what you think down in the comment section, please. I want to know if you did respond. Let me know what you had to say. All right? But as always, that's an episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank you for watching. Y'all know how we get down. We have fun and we laugh. But everything we talk about rooted in what? Facts and truth. remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. You know, I love the comments. If you have not done so already, check out the Wonder Kid Show's Patreon. That's a big thing right now. We're trying to build and add more stuff for it. And thank you for all the Patreon users. And if you'd like to donate to this channel, help out with equipment and such stuff like that, bottom of the screen, QR code. QR code's to a Cash App. Cash App is located in the description of every video that we do. Name of it is money sign, The Wonder Kid Show. Super easy. But once again, it's The Wonder Kid Show. This is your host, signing off. And as always, you know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Huh? Yeah.
Finish him, Daddy.
Yeah.